Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is our Parent and Community Advisory Session for our District Number 2. We want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. I am Dr. Sheila Jackson, Director of our Department of Family and Community Partnerships in Prince George's County Public Schools. At this time, I would like to welcome Dr. Jennifer Love, who will share with us our procedures for accessing our simultaneous interpretation, as well as talk about our ASL interpretation.
Good,
Dr. Love. Yeah.
good evening. Can we advance the slide, please? Interpreting services are available this evening in American Sign Language and also in Spanish. Servicios de interpretación simultánea está disponible en español. Next slide. Estos servicios en una computadora van a ver en la parte baja de la pantalla, habrá un globo de interpretación. Haga clic en ese globo y seleccione Spanish. En un dispositivo móvil, en la parte baja de la pantalla, toca el icono de elipsis en la parte baja derecha de la pantalla. Toque Language Interpretation y toque Spanish. Gracias.
Thank you, Dr. Love. Please advance the slide. We invite everyone who's here tonight to please join us in our sign-in process. You may scan the QR code. This gives us an opportunity to make sure that we gather your contact information and can send you further information about other family and community engagement activities. So take a second, give you a chance to scan that code and sign in tonight. Thank you. Next slide. We also invite you as our partners in this event tonight to join us in utilizing the norms that we have. We always invite all of us when we are collaborating together to practice mutual respect, engage transparently, listen for understanding, assume positive intentions, because everything that we do is about making sure that we're working in the best interest of our students. And we invite you to offer suggestions rather than complaints. That gives us opportunity to work together collaboratively to address concerns. Thank you. Next slide. Other important things to know tonight, the session is being recorded. There is no chat available as this is a webinar. However, the opportunity to write in is really important to us, so please use the Q&A feature to submit questions to staff. We will make sure that all of your questions are asked tonight, and our interim superintendent will respond live. If you have other questions or comments that you'd like to make, also use the link that is listed here in this slide. I invite you to take a picture of it so that as you're ready to use it, you will have it. And we will be dropping this link into the chat repeatedly. Thank you. Again, using the Q&A feature is on the bottom of your screen. If you don't see Q&A right now, please click on more, the button that says more, and that'll show the Q&A button for you. Once you've accessed that portal, please type your question, and you have an option. You can send it anonymously, or you can add your name to it. All questions will be answered to the best of our ability tonight. Thank you. Our agenda. Again, the point of this meeting is to make sure that we hear from as many of you all as possible. We thank you for taking your time out on a Friday night to be here to meet our interim superintendent, as well as to ask any questions that you may have about the future of Prince George's County Public Schools under his leadership. So you will hear from him, and then we will open our portal for answering questions that you ask. So we please ask that you begin to fill questions into the Q&A portal. Before we end tonight, we'll also be asking for an evaluation completion. Thank you. And please go ahead and advance the slide because I am excited to welcome our interim superintendent, Dr. Sean Joseph. And he is here tonight to not only talk about his 100-day entry plan, but also to answer any questions that you may have as community. So at this time, I will wave bye-bye, and we want to make sure that he is spotlighted to share with you. Welcome, Dr. Joseph.
Well, hello, it's great to be here. Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay. Okay. Well, look, District 2, it's great to be here. How you doing? I'm excited to be here on a Friday. It's been a long week, y'all. It has been a long, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been a long week, but I'm excited to be here and talk with you a little bit about my 100-day plan and really answer your questions. I mean, the purpose of these sessions is for me to be able to answer any questions that you have to the best of my knowledge, knowing that I've only been here about 2 weeks now. But I've learned a lot. I mean, this 100-day plan is really about me listening deeply, learning, and really beginning to lay a foundation for us to work together. So thank you, Dr. Jackson, for all that you have done and continue to do. Because I start this 100-day plan with our families. Because the fact is, if our families are not engaged, there's no way we can be a great school system. So we need everyone connected, and the big thing we need from you is just to be present and give us feedback on how things are going. I mean, we are striving for continuous improvement, and we want to give you the excellence that we know you deserve. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'll tell you a little bit about what I know in District 2, and then we'll open it up for questions. So if we can go to the next slide. I got into education back in 1996. I can't believe that I'm going on 30 years in education here. I started my career in Montgomery County Public Schools, Maryland, as an English teacher. And I didn't think I was going to be an English teacher growing up. I actually thought I was going to be a medical doctor. But at Lincoln University, I met a young man who couldn't read. And I felt like that was one of the first times God spoke with me, because I just didn't quite understand how we put people on the moon and not teach children, how to read in this country. So in my career, I have been an English teacher, a reading specialist, a middle school uh, team leader, a dean of students, an assistant principal. I was Maryland State Principal of the Year, 2009. I supervised 34 schools, all in the Blair, Einstein, Northwood, Kennedy cluster, that Silver Spring area of Montgomery County, Maryland, before going off to become a superintendent of schools in Seaford, Delaware. If you've ever gone down to the beaches in Delaware, you pass Seaford and you pass right off of Route 1. And so I was there for 2 years before coming here to Prince George's County in that 2014-2016 school year. That was a busy time in our district as we were working to expand magnet programs and advanced programs within the district. And we had a great team working collaboratively, and I was responsible for all of the teaching and learning in the district at that time. But I left to go to Nashville, Tennessee, and I was superintendent of schools there for 3 years before going to Fordham University. I'm from New York. And so, getting to New York and flying back and forth between New York and Nashville was fun. And Fordham University is one of America's great schools there. I did that for a year, teaching doc students in ed leadership and policy studies before coming to the Mecca, Howard University. HU, you know, for those folks out there that know something about Howard. I did that for the past 5 years. I taught in the doctoral program there, and I taught the politics of education, an urban education course, and an information technology course. And I also led a superintendent's academy where over the last 5 years, I placed about 23 superintendents around the country and really enjoyed doing that work. But I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoy being back here in Prince George's County. I mean, I think this is a moment for us where I really do think we can do amazing work. This week I was hiring staff. So we hired a chief of schools and we hired um, tomorrow we'll be hiring a associate superintendent for middle schools and then hiring a new associate superintendent, in the high schools. So these are very, very busy times. And we're trying to find people who understand the beauty of Prince George's County and are excited about being here, giving our kids excellence by design, every day. And that's what we are committed to doing. So I'm looking forward to your questions and answering anything. But I can tell you, District 2 is an absolutely amazing district. I mean, it's one of the most diverse and vibrant communities we have here in Prince George's County. It's where students are supported through high quality programming designed to help them thrive from pre-K through graduation. I mean, we've got some great charter school options in this region. We've got the language immersion programs, and this community is a community of strong neighborhood schools rooted in community pride. District 2 is also home to a tight-knit Title I and community schools group of schools where wraparound services and local partnerships directly benefit our students, right? We've got the great Parkdale High School, which reflects the global nature of our district. I mean, it's one of the most culturally and linguistically diverse schools, not only in the county, but in the state. We've got over 40 countries represented, and over 90% of our students are multilingual learners who speak Spanish as their home language. Parkdale offers the International Baccalaureate program, and it's piloting a new Foundations of Interpreting and Translation course developed in partnership with the Prince George's County Public Schools Language Access Team. This innovative course prepares students to work as interpreters or translators after they graduate, giving them real-world career pathways launched right from our classrooms. And then, of course, District 2 is home of Eleanor Roosevelt High School and the College Park Academy, and they continue to be recognized for their academic excellence, and they offer some of the most rigorous courses in the state of Maryland. And beyond academics, District 2 is leading sustainability. I mean, we've got Berwyn Heights Elementary School, where students are living out the Prince George's County Climate Action Plan every single day. And they exemplify why we continue to lead in the state as it relates to green schools. Right, the school was recently one of the few green schools in Maryland, actually only one of three in Maryland, nominated for the U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbons School Award, which is a national recognition honoring innovative efforts to reduce environmental impact, improve wellness, and expand environmental learning. In addition, at Dora Reed French Immersion Program, students are building global fluency early, with nearly 200 third grade and fourth grade students earning recognition from the embassy in France. Just so happens, just today, I saw a video with one of our students who graduated from the French Immersion Program, went off and took Chinese at the high school level, and is going to the Naval Academy, right from your District 2. I mean, she's emblematic of the excellence. So if you watch Channel 4 News, I'm sure you'll see it. Very proud of the work that she's doing. We've also got Paint Branch Elementary School and Greenbelt Middle Schools, where we have our Chinese immersion programs. And I can remember, 9 years ago, we had a contingency of Chinese teachers come to town. And I remember 9 years ago, we penned an exchange program with China. So what an opportunity to learn and share and an amazing life-changing ability to learn a language like Chinese right here in the second district, right? Equipping students with language skills and cultural understanding, so they are truly able to compete in a global economy. Like in many parts of the county, we've got lots of construction and needs for construction, and different District 2 is no different. So in District 2, we're benefiting from both our traditional capital improvement plan, and we have a P3 model. P3 is a first of its kind public-private partnership that's allowing Prince George's County Public Schools to build schools much faster. We have William Wirt Middle School. I want to shout out to our Jaguars in the house, right, which opened its doors to a beautiful new campus just this past school year. And that was funded through the capital improvement plan. We also have Spring Hill Lake Elementary School in Greenbelt, which is one of 8 schools to be built in phase 2 of our Blueprint Schools program. The state-of-the-art building is slated for completion in the summer of 2028. So lots of great things happening in District 2. I can't wait to get down there and start visiting schools again. Hopefully I'll be able to do that in the next few weeks or so, but school's going to start in 6 weeks, so I'll definitely be there. But at this time, love to open up and take any questions, Dr. Jackson.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph. I'd also like to just pause and welcome our Board of Education member, who's also the Vice Chair of the Board of Education, Mr. Jonathan Briggs. I have been trying to make him a panelist, but if he would like to speak, just let us know, and so that he could bring greetings as well. But we thank him for being here.
Yes, yes, yes. I can't stress that I think one of the reasons I chose to come back to Prince George's County at this time is because we've got a board that's really focused on doing right by our community. And Mr. Briggs is no exception. I mean, he's passionate, thoughtful, and really is working hard to get things right for our kids in the second district. So, Mr. Briggs, thank you for your service and your support.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Joseph, and also Dr. Jackson. It's so great to be here, and I, want to echo the sentiments that I know that so many of my colleagues care deeply about this work, have been working hard, and I know that that'll continue. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for the work that is being initiated, and looking forward also to the engagement and the questions from the community. But thank you so much, Dr. Joseph and Dr. Jackson.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we will start, Dr. Joseph, with some of the questions that have come in. We've heard from Wendy Brown, and she wanted to know, will PGCPS be able to make use of hybrid learning when there is snow days this year? This is asked to help us keep extra days from being added to the end of the year. Any thoughts about that, sir?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know what we have done historically, but we have the capacity to do so. And I think if we know snow is coming, I think that as long as the state allows that to be an option, I would be in favor of it. So I will keep you posted as we start anticipating snow. But if we can, the answer will be yes.
Thank you. Another question is, our participant is wondering about your plans to prioritize special education. Minimally, we need appropriate staffing, appropriate services provided, and basic compliance with IDEA and 504.
Yeah,
Administrative staff routinely, well, I will go ahead, sir. I'm sorry, you started. Please, go ahead.
Oh, no problem. No, I was just gonna say I wholeheartedly, agree there. I mean, there's a national challenge with staffing with special education. We have to acknowledge that. I mean, and we have a very large school system and therefore need lots of teachers, lots of paraeducators, and lots of support personnel to ensure that our students are getting their needs met. You have my commitment that special education will be treated as a system-wide accountability priority. Collective ownership is not just about special education, it's about all departments working to support our students. We've got great leadership in the special education department under Dr. Bowman. And, my very first day, excuse me, she and I spoke about some of the needs, particularly some of the vacancies and the plans that the special education department has to ensure that we are in compliance with our IEPs. And they're working diligently to get it right, knowing that there have been challenges. Special education has to be a top priority, particularly as the district responds to being in corrective action in special education. Staffing for these student groups must be addressed as urgently as possible. One of the things that you're going to see very soon is that we're going to put out some public dashboards, and those dashboards are going to communicate where we have vacancies in special education, where we have vacancies with special education paraeducators. Because what I know is you can't manage a secret. And so we have to put things out there and actively work to address those issues. We have 24 comprehensive schools that are in improvement right now. These are schools that are not producing the outcomes that we expect. And 20 of those schools have special education identified as a challenge. And we've just got to work to make sure that they're fully staffed in the next 6 weeks. There are too many vacancies, and with that, the problem compounds. So some of the things that we're going to do are first, make sure that we're being transparent. So like I said, we'll have the dashboards up. Next, we'll make sure that we are in compliance with our IEPs. Thirdly, we'll explore additional Title I dollars to give students more support. And we'll also look at our community schools model and whether opportunities to use community schools funding to provide supports. We're going to really look to do that in a more coherent fashion. Upcoming hiring events for special education teachers are going to be held July 23rd. So that's coming up soon at Ellen Ocha Middle School. And I realized that, we got to have both high accountability and high support. And that's what we need to move forward. We're going to make sure that we're monitoring, supporting, and communicating with our families as we work to solve these issues.
Thank you, Dr. Joseph. Another question has come in. Please give us an update about plans to replace some of the missing individuals in exec cabinet now, like I think they mean associate superintendent of middle schools or any other staff. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, so yesterday we interviewed for the chief of schools position. That's the person who oversees all of the associate superintendents, all of the instructional directors who monitor schools. So I should make an announcement on that on Monday. We also are interviewing for the associate superintendent for middle schools. I'm actually doing that tomorrow. Like I just didn't have time in the day, Monday through Friday. And this is so important. I didn't want to wait another week to get it done. So we're just gonna come in on Saturday and take care of that. Those are the those are the positions. And if there are someone gets hired and we have to fill the vacancy, we'll backfill. But my goal is to have all of the central office administrative vacancies that report to me at that level definitely done by August 4th, which begins our summer leadership. It's important that we have everybody in place there. I'll also note, if you look on our website, you'll see that we have two positions that are going to be out there. One is an associate superintendent for innovation and performance. I'm creating that position to address the need for closer monitoring and support of our comprehensive school improvement, the CSI schools and the ATI schools. These are schools that the state have identified as having needs academically and support. And I just felt like we didn't have enough support to principals and staffs in those buildings. So my vision is to have a supervisor that closely monitors those schools, has someone that looks at the academic components within those schools, and then we pull from different departments to ensure that, special education, English language learners, the data and accountability and the monitoring and the school improvement efforts are thoughtful, research-based, and are actually getting results. We just have to closely, like I said, that notion of high accountability and high support must be there. And so you'll see that position online, and hopefully we'll get that filled as we move into next week.
Thank you. The next question, please share your plan for improving the building conditions of those amazing schools that you referenced.
Yeah. So we've got great variance in our buildings. I mean, we've got some of the extremely state-of-the-art schools, and we have some schools that are very old, need to be rebuilt, need to be repaired. As you know, getting our buildings modernized has been a challenge. I think we've got a few $1 billion backlog, and that's one of the reasons we moved to the P3 option to be able to get schools built faster, and we're working towards that. One of the things I know our operations team has been committed to doing, even if a building is old, is making sure that it's clean. And making sure that it has the resources that it needs for students to thrive. So we're going around now looking at buildings and working hard to make sure that they're ready when school opens. You can have an old building, but if it's clean, if it has the technology you need, and if it's filled with loving adults and vibrant students, education and learning happens. And so we're committed to making sure that happens. And if it's not, please let me know, and we'll make sure we get someone there to get it to our standards.
Thank you. The next question, please share your plan to fix or improve the PGCPS bus system.
Yeah, those buses, boy, I tell you. First, what I'll say is that we know transportation has been a problem. Like it was a problem 9 years ago, quite frankly, when I was here. We're working to continue to modernize the district's transportation infrastructure for on-time buses, and more importantly, we want to make sure we're communicating much better with parents when things are challenged. And we have heard parents' frustration loud and clear, particularly with the app Stop Finder, that we use. So as a result, a decision was made even prior to my arrival to pilot a new parent app, and it's called Chipmunk. And we're going to start by piloting that with our special education students. And if things go well, we'll roll it out to the wider community as we move into the second semester. The app's going to provide real-time bus locations, and hopefully that will alleviate frustration amongst families. We've also installed more than 1,200 school bus tablets in our buses to improve our routing and our GPS. This year, we're going to try something new with some bus hubs. And the bus hubs, we hope, will reduce ride times and improve efficiency and on-time performance. And we're going to pilot it in 3 specialty schools this fall in partnership with Parks and Planning. We're also doubling the number of people we have answering phones and communicating with you at the bus depots, and we hope that will improve customer service. And I think one of the big things that we're doing that we hope will improve things is we're hiring non-CDL drivers in vans to support, when we can take a smaller group of students to get them where they're supposed to go. Yeah, but this is where I want to stress. Right now we have about 130 or so bus driver vacancies. If you know people who are interested in driving, I mean, I think this is a great opportunity for an entrepreneur or someone who is working part-time who needs great benefits. Because I can tell you, Prince George's County Public Schools benefits package is gold standard. I mean, it's excellent. And you can get those benefits even working part-time with us. So if you know someone who's interested in driving, the money, you probably can make more money doing other things, quite frankly, even though we try to stay competitive as it relates to the cost for driving a bus. But those benefits are very beneficial for individuals. And, come check us out. We can help you get your CDL if you're interested. And that's a very valuable credential to have. But we've got to fill the vacancies. I mean, we have over 1,000 bus drivers and 1,000 buses. So it's no small feat. We're the 17th largest district in the country with about 130,000 students. And so filling those vacancies is a task. And I can tell you, our operations department and our human resources department really have been working hard. And our communications team, shout out to them because they've been pushing out the information about getting advertisements out and letting people know how to join us to be a part of the team to drive. So if you know somebody, hey, reach out. It's a great opportunity and a great good. But we've got to close it. The reality is we probably will have some vacancies when school starts. We're 6 weeks out. So one of the things we're committed to doing is communicating better. I mean, we should know which routes will be impacted and stay tuned. We'll be pushing that information out because I think if you know that there is a problem, we can anticipate and try to make other means and hopefully reduce some of the frustration that we know has been out in the community for years now with our buses.
Thank you. Mrs. Spencer would like to know, what can parents anticipate regarding shifting resources given our political climate? How are we securing funding to support students and parents about special needs, IEPs, and 504s?
Yeah. I would say the board in the last administration, in this last budget, they budgeted conservatively, which is good for us because they budgeted that, they anticipated maybe a 20% reduction in our federal dollars, and the actuals were 9%. So, we feel okay in terms of what we budgeted for. We budgeted for the worst, and it's better than what we anticipated. But it's still bad because we are losing lots of money in the state of Maryland. I mean, the state of Maryland is expected to receive about $125 million less in federal funds for specific federal programs compared to last year. Right now, we're still waiting to know what's going to happen with our 21st century grants, which fund after school programs. So they're on hold. So we're, in any day now, hopefully in the next week or two, we'll know what those funds look like. I was on a call the other day, I think this past Monday, with the state. And the feeling was that because those funds have been appropriated by Congress, they're on hold, but we should get them. So we're waiting to see what we receive. And this is a situation that's just unfolding right now, but there will be an impact, as federal dollars are about 12 to 13% of our budget. The biggest part of our budget comes from the state. That's about 50% of our budget. And then our local government funds about 30 some odd percent. And then we get about 12 to 13% from federal. And then we have other grants and things that fund us. So, the impact is real. But the good news is our dollars are really from the state and local as the biggest bulk of our dollars. But, we'll keep communicating once we have the numbers. I mean, right now, our chief financial officer is looking at the impact of that 9% that we lost because most of our funds are in people. And so, we're trying to make sure that, we can ensure that we continue with essential functions of the system, and that if we have to make cuts, it's not affecting classrooms or our people. I mean, that's our priority, to preserve the classroom by any means necessary. But these are tough times. And it's one of the reasons in my 100-day plan, we are prioritizing how we are using dollars and are we getting a return on investment? Because we can't have wasteful spending when dollars are very limited. And so that's a priority for me.
Thank you. There's a question from one of our attendees about classroom sizes. Are you certain that they will be reasonable in the numbers this year?
Well, I'm certain that the Board of Education has guidelines for our class sizes, and we work to appropriate dollars to schools based upon those ratios. Right now, I've not been informed since I've been here of any anticipated issues. I mean, but you never know. You never know if you have an influx of students in our state and in our school system, dollars follow students. So if a school has more students, then the dollars follow them. And then we can address that appropriately. But like I said, I've not been aware of any concerns at this point. But it's a school by school situation, and it really depends upon the influx of enrollment as we go through. But we monitor that closely and appropriate for it.
Thank you. Another question about special education. This participant is asking us, how do we ensure that there is no longer non-compliance, and that we ensure that the system for special education is being set up in a way that is more friendly for parents?
Yes, we have to partner with our special education students. Like I said, I guess earlier this week, again, I spoke with Dr. Bowman, who's over special education, and we talked about setting me up to meet with our parent advisory group. That's important because our advisory group can help me understand the experiences parents are having. We definitely need to work on our customer service. I'm aware of that. And we also need to be more communicative. I'm aware of that as well. As it relates to ensuring that we're in compliance, we do work to stay on top of compliance. I think one of the challenges that as I understand it, historically, or at least last year, was that we were down so many staff members. But I know that our department has been proactively working this year, even to bring in outside school system resources to support making sure that we stay in compliance with our IEPs. And we're talking about exploring all ways. I mean, I've been meeting with the schools, the associate superintendents over schools, and with our technology department, for example, really looking at how are we maximizing our virtual school and ensuring that if we have a vacancy, that we can get a certified teacher, even if we have to beam them into the classroom and provide a substitute teacher or paraeducator to provide the support with the behaviors and just managing the classroom while we can have a teacher instructing. I mean, that's not an ideal, but ensuring that someone is in front of students who knows the content is essential for us. So we're working hard on it. Again, we've got thousands of vacancies. As far as I know, as of Tuesday of this week, when I got a report, we were about 89% staffed. So that's good. We hire about 1,000 new teachers a year. So if that were being the case, I mean, we'd be looking at about 110 vacancies that would need to be filled this year. In a county this large, that's not bad, but we want to get to 100%. And so we're continuing to hire. We've got some job fairs coming up, and we'll just keep working at it. But again, you're going to see some dashboards coming up with our vacancies very soon on our website, and that'll help us be transparent in tracking where we need to address issues.
Thank you, Dr. Joseph. We have a question from Reverend Clarence Crawford, one of our state board members, and we welcome him and thank him for being with us tonight.
That's
His
great.
question is, what are your plans to enhance literacy levels and make PGCPS one of the top systems in Maryland?
Yeah, yeah. And like I shared, I got into education because I met a student who couldn't read, and actually because of that, I went to Johns Hopkins University and I got a master's in the teaching of reading. So reading is a passion for me personally. The very first thing we need to do is make sure that our parents understand where their child is reading. It's important for me that parents know that, hey, my child reads, better than 80% of kids, or my child reads worse than 80%. So like what's the percentile? Where does your child fall? That's really important. And so we're going to make sure that we're not only testing students early in reading, but we're giving parents that information so we know the work that needs to be done. So that's step one, just making sure we're clear about that baseline. The state of Maryland has adopted this process called the science of reading, which is a kind of a research-based way that we train teachers to teach children how to read. And so we're locked in on making sure that our teachers are strong in the teaching of reading. When I was at Hopkins years ago, one of the things that they taught me and helped me understand is that most children in America who don't read well, the issue isn't that they can't learn. The issue is how they're being instructed more often than not. So we've got to make sure our instruction is strong, and we're doing that. We're going to be piloting some reading labs in one of our districts where we're going to take some of our nationally certified teachers, some of the best teachers we have in the teaching of reading, and we're going to be allowing new teachers and other teachers to visit them to learn how to teach reading. We think that's going to be a game changer here because we have to scale the quality of instruction in our district and ensure that our best teachers are being learned from, and our teachers who need support are getting the support they need to be able to help our students. We have pretty rich classrooms in terms of resources for literacy, but I do think we could do more work working with families to help families understand what the standards are and reinforcing at home some of the skills that their students are being taught, in school. So that'll be a big push for us to engage families. Actually, Dr. Jackson can tell you, I've been speaking with her about, not only surveying parents to understand what parents' needs and what parents' needs are, but also ensuring that we are having some parent academies to support our literacy work. So we'll make sure we got strong teachers. We'll make sure that we have the resources there. We'll make sure if students aren't getting it, that we have structures to reteach and reassess. We'll make sure we're testing students to know where they are and monitoring them along the way. And I think if we do that, we'll continue to increase our literacy scores and work.
Thank you, Dr. Joseph. We have a question from Cassandra Burrell, and she says it's a two-part question. It's about community engagement. She said, is there a plan to identify partners who can meet various needs across the district? The second part is, how can community members best position themselves to support various initiatives across the district?
Yes. Okay. So the first part, yes, one of the things we need to do, and I've charged Dr. Jackson actually with doing this, is I think we've got to identify our partners and ways to partner. Sometimes it's not, school systems aren't the easiest entity to partner with. So And a lot of people want to partner with us sometimes, but sometimes partners don't understand our standards and how we do what we do. Like I said, we're a district that's focused on the science of reading. So if a partner wants to partner with us in reading, for example, we would have to have a venue to be able to ensure that they can teach, the standards as they're, the standards as rigorous as they are. And we have to make sure we're supporting them in doing that. So one of the things I know we need to do, and it's something that I've done in other school districts, is to identify sometimes a kind of a third party. Like I know when I was in Nashville, we used the United Way, for example, and the United Way was a vetter, if you will, of partners that worked with us and ensured that they had a quality of care that was aligned to the district's expectations, and they supported nonprofits with the grants to be able to help us implement programs. I think we've got to think about who is our support system here and support structure to help us do that type of work, so we can bring people on and have consistency and quality control and support to expand our capacity. But I know, we've got a lot of activity happening with our community schools in different communities and areas. And I know a lot of the community schools are bringing on partners to provide those supports. One of the things we're looking at, and I know Dr. David Reese and my office is working with the community schools, is to have a structure so people know how to engage and how to really support us so we can execute. I mean, we've got to really be focused and strategic in our work, and that is part of the conversations that we're having right now. How do we expand our ecosystem for greater effect? And the second part of the question was,
The second part was, how can community members best position themselves to support various initiatives across the district?
yeah, yeah. I think one, to engage, as Dr. Jackson puts the call out and the structure for us to begin talking and connecting monthly. Be sure to join those meetings. I think also, again, we have to have a structure, and we will create a structure to make it easier to partner with us. I think we have to put out where we need help as a school system. I don't know if we always do that. So put out where we need help, put out the structures for helping and how to get you, all the things we need for you to be able to volunteer. Because when you volunteer in the school system, you have to get your fingerprints and background checks and everything done to engage with us. So we just have to put out and will put out those parameters to be clear and the areas where we need support. That is a big charge for Dr. Jackson this year as we elevate the family and community engagement to put the structures in place.
Thank you, Dr. Joseph, and I look forward to that work. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mrs. Spencer asked, are there ways that we can support teachers with de-escalation training to help them better manage their classroom?
Yeah, the issue of that falls under kind of student safety and mental health supports for me. And one of the things I spoke with Dr. Liz Faison, who's over our student services work, and we talked about the fact that it's really important for us in Prince George's County to have a framework and an expectation of how we support students with not only de-escalation but mental and physical wellness. So we've got to have clear frameworks to support that work, and we've got to make sure that students come in and they're safe. and we're creating safe environments. I mean, we can't have, students who are demonstrating dangerous behaviors in our schools. We have to put things in place to get them the help they need. And some of the things that the school system has already invested in are, I know in this recent budget, they've made investments in school-based personnel. So they added counselors, psychologists, nurses, clinicians, pupil personnel workers, and community school coordinators. We have digital support right now. There's a company that we work with called Hazel Health, and they provide virtual counseling, and it's free. You have to opt in for it, but you can get the services for free. We also have an app called Prosper, which supports student self-care. And coming well, I guess since 2024, we've actually had a $25 million grant from the Maryland Community Health Resource Commission to expand partnerships with 18 local health providers. And coming soon, what we're really looking forward to are some school-based wellness centers, and they'll be opening in partnership with Children's National Hospital. So right now, we have slated Colin Powell Academy, Bladensburg High School, Fairmont Heights High School, Northwestern High School, and Oxon Hill High Schools, as well as Drew Freeman Middle School, Hyattsville Middle School, Kenmore Middle School, Sonia Sotomayor, and Walker Mill Middle School. So we feel that these new centers will be a great resource for our students, and the goal is to have it district-wide over the course of the next 3 years.
Thank you. Comment, Montgomery County Public Schools is offering a nurse assistant certification to their seniors. What do you think about implementing that here in Prince George's County Public Schools?
Yeah, I definitely need to look into that. I'm not sure what our CTE offerings currently are, but I do know, that nursing assistants are needed and in high demand, and our the goal of our CTE programs is to ensure that we are getting certifications and apprenticeships for students in high demand job areas. Right? Our goal is to ensure that when our students graduate, that they can enroll in college, they can enter the workforce, they can enlist in the military, or they can be entrepreneurs. And so it's one of the things I really want to look at this year, because I think it's something we can have a quick impact on, is looking at the effectiveness of our CTE program. How many of our kids are getting the industry certifications? How many of our kids are getting into the dual enrollment programs, particularly with Prince George's Community College? And then the areas that they're focused on that can help them in that going directly to employment option and making that available for them. So that's something I've spoken with our folks internally about already, just gauging the numbers. Like I saw, that we have about 6,000 students that get dual enrollment work, and I think there's an opportunity to increase that. Like, we have a very large budget to support dual enrollment, and we want to maximize getting all the students who qualify into those programs.
Thank you. A very quick question. Are clear backpacks still going to be mandatory during this school year?
Yes, they will in our high schools.
Thank you.
And
Question?
some
Yes.
of our schools, and some of our
Yes.
middle schools as well. Yeah.
Thank you. What priorities do you have for the language immersion programs? They tend to perform well, and it seems that they therefore lack attention for more resources.
Yeah, I'd be interested in knowing what additional resources are needed in the language immersion programs. Right now that has not bubbled up, but I do think, with our district being about 40% multilingual learners, I think there's an opportunity to strengthen and expand, such programs. I mean, I remember in again, the 2014-2016 school year, that's when we had the last kind of major expansion, where we went and expanded. I think some of the Spanish immersions got created in that time. The international school got created. We started looking at and strengthening the Japanese, excuse me, the Chinese program at Paint Branch, because again, I remember us going to China. So I think, Prince George's County has world-renowned immersion programs. I mean, our French immersion program is exemplary. And so where there are opportunities to replicate and expand, I think we should explore. I mean, of course, there's a budget uh, requirement on that. But again, with us having such a diverse, large number of second language learners, this is the place where I think we can get some quick wins.
Thank you. Ms. Harley is asking us, will there be an opportunity to reevaluate the capital improvement plan and/or schools that will benefit from the P3 program? For example, Dora Kennedy French Immersion School is one of the highest performing elementary schools, yet it has either been housed in an extremely old and soon to be retired building or in a co-location with another school. So will DFKI be considered for a new or modernized building?
Yeah, so we have a process for identifying which schools are up for, renovations. It's a pretty elaborate process where we actually do an evaluation of each school in the district, and then we rank order each one of the buildings, and then we kind of list what we're going to do first, second, third, so forth, or looking throughout the county. I think that's evaluated often, or at least annually. And then there's conversation and connection, but we use data, to make those decisions on which schools we go to next. I don't know where the French immersion program is on that list, because I've not looked at our CIP list, but I do know that the CIP budget is approaching. So, and that information can be found. So if you just send me an email at superintendent@pgcps.org, I can send you back information about where the school is on the list, because I'm just not aware.
Thank you. Our question is there any plan to improve the quality of meals that PGCPS provides for students, especially the quality of lunches on the high school level?
That is that would be something I would need to look into, quite honestly. And I think what I do like is having student advisories about our food and our menus. And I think we can have some tastings and feedback on what's working and not, um, and go from there. That's something I easily can. One of the things I will do this year is have a student advisory, and I think nutrition is at the top of students' lists typically, and so we can meet with the head of food and nutrition, look at the menu options that are available, and ensure that there's consistency and quality in our foods. And if we can't do it, then it's worthy of a conversation with the Board of Education to see what are alternative options. I think we do our own food in Prince George's County. I don't believe we outsource that to another company. But it'd be worth it if we're not satisfied to look at all available options. But I think it begins with student tastings, family tastings, and looking at what we can do and getting that feedback and responding to it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph, because another person co-signed with that question and said, yes, students are sneaking to have food delivered via Uber Eats. So thank you for looking into this for us.
No, we definitely can look into it. And like I said, there are options. I mean, I can put that at the top of the list here, because I know students students should have a good, healthy meal that tastes good. that looks good, that tastes good, that is prepared with care. And so, like I said, I can put that at the top of the students' list for food tastings and working with our nutrition team to see what options are. And again, if we can't do it, then we have to ask the question, who can?
Thank you. Here's a question. What is your plan to manage the image of PGCPS? Compared to neighboring districts, PGCPS does not often receive positive press on major news outlets. How can we change this?
Yeah, so I think one of the things I recognize is you've got to be out there and you've got to tell the honest, accurate story. And we've got an amazing communications team. I think what we must do though is identify those good stories to be told, and we've got to control our own destiny, right? I mean, I think one of the things that we're working on right now is putting up on the website a, where are they now area. So like the young lady that I told you that's on NBC News from the French immersion program that's going to the Naval Academy. We've got to tell those good stories of the great students, the great employees that we have. And so this year we'll be actively creating clips, identifying former Prince George's County students that are out doing great things and sharing that with the greater public. It's important. I agree with the caller, on that we have to tell our story, or a story will be told about us. And so, being intentional, we have a number of what are they, parent coordinators in schools,
Yes.
and they know what's happening in our buildings. We've got to intentionally be communicating the good word up to our communications department, and then our communications department should be pitching that information not only to local media outlets, but also on our website, creating our own, our own news. Now, I was on, I believe it was NBC, I guess about a week ago, with Monette Green, I believe her name was. And one of the things she talked to me about was she's a Prince George's County resident and would love to share the great stories and things that are happening in Prince George's County. And she exchanged, email numbers with our communications team so we could better send information about the things that are happening. I think it's a matter of intentionality because we've got great things happening in our schools. When we've got, great kids, great staff, we've just got to tell our story better and get it out there.
Thank you so much. We have several more questions, but I did want to make sure you have time because some of the questions, as I read through them, would be answered in your presentation of the 100-day plan. So would you like to shift into that? And that way we can make sure that you have time to share information that actually will answer many of the questions that are left.
Sounds great. Sounds great. So when we look at my first 100 days, I broke it down into 6 different areas. The first area is the Board of Education and I need to come together and just answer the question: are we dreaming big enough for our kids? And what do we want to do first, second, and third? And have we aligned our budget and strategy to be able to do that? So when I talk about strategic alignment, that's what I'm really talking about. Are we clear about what we're doing? Are we clear about our resources? Next. You can go to the next slide. In area 2, in terms of talent, we hire, like I said, over 1,000 teachers a year, and we have about 20,000 employees, and we've got to have great employees in front of kids in every office and every school every day. And so when I look at priority area 2, it's really about ensuring we have great staffing. It's really about making sure we take care of the staff that we have within the district. One of the things that this morning I met with our our benefits team because one of the things that I'd like to kick off right at the beginning of the year is a healthy living initiative, right? We've got to make sure that our employees' mental health is well, and we have to make sure their physical health is well. And so part of my first 100 days is really about wellness for all. Because if the adults are not well, it's hard to ensure that our children are well. And so we'll be working with our insurance providers and kicking off activities to retain and support people and make sure that they're coming in at their best to give our kids the best. As we go to the next slide, keep going. Priority area 3. What's most important to me is that we ensure that our kids are growing academically. That's what we're here for. So as I look at this first 100 days, I've been asking questions and thinking about how do we know whether our kids are growing at acceptable rates or not? If they're not growing at acceptable rates, we've got to answer the question, why aren't they? If they are growing at acceptable rates, then we need to figure out, what can we do to accelerate it? But we've got to answer that question, are students making growth? And we have to study where it's not happening and be clear about what resources are needed to help them move forward. I think we're blessed to be in Maryland because we have the blueprint for the Maryland future, which is our state, in which our state has made significant historic investments in education. And, in Prince George's County, we see this as an opportunity to be creative, to dream big, and to put resources in the right place to accelerate outcomes. So I continue to review our district's data and reflect upon our organizational structure. And I'm trying to figure out how we can be more strategic in providing support to our neediest schools, right? So not just our neediest schools, all of our schools. But we've just got to make sure that we have strong principals, strong teachers, and strong programs. And that's the work that I'm assessing, trying to better understand. And I'm trying to understand also in this first 100 days, how are we spending our dollars? And are we getting a return on investment for dollars that are spent? Again, that's really important, particularly as we're losing funds. We've got to make sure the funds that we have count. As we go to the next area, which is the blueprint for Maryland's future again, this is a legislative agenda that is in Maryland, where Maryland has contributed $3 billion additional dollars into supporting education, and with those dollars come some expectations. We don't want this to be a compliance exercise. We want it to be something where we're excited, dreaming big and bold. So, for example, one of the requirements for the blueprint was to ensure that teachers made a minimum of $60,000 a year. Well, in this last negotiation, where we have negotiated with PGCEA, our teachers union, we've got a tentative agreement that does just that. A year before, we had to do it. So we want to continue on those type of things. I don't think people realize that in Prince George's County, we have more nationally certified board teachers than any other jurisdiction, and we want to continue to grow that. That's the kind of gold standard for high quality teaching, and it's a goal to have as many teachers as possible getting that certification, demonstrating that they're committed to their craft and doing well for our students. So we're going to work to make sure we can communicate to families what's in this blueprint, and we're going to make sure that we have a strategic plan that prioritizes the goals. So improvements in early childhood, improvements in CTE, improvements in teacher training and literacy. Those are all parts of the plan that right now I'm looking to see if there's alignment between our strategic plan and what this new plan says we should be doing. We're going to be in a strategic planning year this year. And our goal is to have one plan, not a blueprint plan and a strategic plan, but just one plan that really is ambitious for us as a system that we can resource behind and put plans behind to see improvement with our students. And then if we move to area 5, this is where I started the conversation with community engagement. What I know is community engagement is the secret ingredient to student success. That when parents are engaged, students just do better. So right now, in the course of this first 100 days, my goal is to listen deeply to families, to be clear about where we are, and then to lead us into a strategic planning process. I know we can do a better job telling our stories. And one of the things I think, an elephant in the room for me is that we've got, thousands of families in Prince George's County that do not send their children to our school system. And many have not been in our schools in a long time. They don't see the excellence that exists in the schools. They're going off of perception. Well, so one of the things I really want to do this year is open up our schools and allow families to just come in and see what's there, the good, the bad, the ugly. Well, let's be transparent because I believe that there's more good than bad or ugly. But you got to get in to actually see it. And I would also challenge parents, like if you have 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a year to spend on an education, and I would challenge, and you're spending that 20, 30, 40, 50,000 to send your kids to some of our great, local schools like University of Maryland, Towson, Bowie State, Morgan, Howard, the Hamptons of the world. I would argue that a large majority of our students go to those same places. So if you would have taken that money and invested it in a mutual fund, by the time your kid got out of college with the compound interest, they probably would be millionaires. It's worth asking yourself, is it, am I getting something so different to be spending all of this money to send our kids outside when our public schools are doing the very same thing? Again, I think I'm a proponent of school choice. I mean, I think parents should send their children where they believe they're going to get the type of education that's going to help them, achieve their dreams. I want to make sure that our public schools here in Prince George's County, are a great option for you to consider. And by inviting parents back into our school to at least see whether it's worth it, I think is a worthy conversation, community conversation that we need to entertain. And then as we move to the final area, operations, again, I am clear we've got to continue to work to improve transportation. I am clear that even in our old buildings, they need to be clean, and you should expect that the grass is cut, and that you have all of your, um, you know, materials like soap and bathroom tissues and things of that nature. So right now, as it relates to operations, I'm really paying attention to, do we have those basics down? And if not, how are we better communicating with our families when we have challenges that are coming? Look, in some of these old buildings, I know air conditioning is a challenge. And in a lot of these older buildings, HVAC issues can be a challenge. I'm working right now to get a handle on where we have some really problematic situations and what can we do short term, long term to address them. And then also making sure, we're 6 weeks away, making sure that the textbooks arrive at schools on time and materials have been properly ordered and so forth. So that way, when we start the school year off, we can start off strong. In a large district with 130,000 students, it's safe to say stuff happens. Leaders don't always, fix everything and make everything perfect, but we should make things better. And one of the things that I'm committed to doing is working to be on top of these issues. So if we anticipate a problem, we at least communicate better with you as a community. And so as we look at the operation challenges, particularly transportation, which has been at the top of the list of many parents. We're going to work to do a better job communicating. And again, utilizing technology and managing the situation. So even if we're not perfect, we'll be better and we can communicate that. And so those are the 6 areas that I've been focused on. And again, the goal of the plan is just to get us off to a great start, to build some momentum, and then we'll move right into a strategic planning process, which ultimately will help us focus and better execute. So that's the nutshell of the plan, Dr. Jackson.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph, for sharing your plan. Many of the questions that are left in the chat have been answered. However, I know our goal is to try to answer as many of them as possible. Our challenge, we always commit to start on time and end on time. So is it okay for me to go ahead and ask a few more questions and then we'll get to our closing to end at
Of course.
7:30?
So in other words, be succinct, Dr. Joseph.
Yes.
I got you.
Thank you.
I got it.
All right. So here's one from Mrs. Spencer. Is there a plan to integrate AI into the classroom?
Yes, there is, and it's in the plan. Our technology team is actively looking at that, both for staff and students. The key is to make sure we do it responsibly.
Thank you. A question is what other opportunities exist for parents to engage with and support district initiatives or provide feedback beyond the Parent Advisory Committee? Any other suggestions?
Yeah, beyond the Parent Advisory Committee, again, one of the things we need to do is look at our volunteerism in our schools and have a structure to help with volunteerism. Also, we have a foundation, and one of the things I've been talking to Dr. Thea Wilson, who is the head of our foundation, and one of the things we recently talked about was making sure that we are clear about areas we want to focus on that we think can help us innovate or help us execute on some student goals better, and making it clear on how people can contribute to help create funds for us to be able to pilot some things and execute on some things. We think it's easier when parents know, and parents of community and philanthropists know what they're investing in and what the outcomes will be. And so we're working on that. So that's another area. Yeah, I mean, the volunteerism piece is something that working at the district level, we can support schools in doing as well. But the best parent engagement is just actively knowing how your child is doing and communicating directly with the principal and the teachers there to partner to ensure your child is successful.
Thank you. And another question is about mental health support. We talked about it for students. Is there mental health support also available for the staff, for educators?
Yeah,
Leaders?
right. And like I said, I just met with our benefits office today, talking about that. So you should see some activities rolling out at the beginning of the year, both for mental health and physical health.
Wonderful. And I think we've answered just about all of our questions. And we really appreciate the robust, really conversation that has been happening in our chat tonight. Some of these questions will be answered when school starts for school staff and talked about again. But again, we have our 100-day plan that we are following and doing our best to implement with fidelity. So we thank you so much, Dr. Joseph, for joining us tonight. And I'm going to move us toward our closure. One of the things that we want to make sure is that our next steps are shared with you. After tonight, we will be having in-person sessions in every board district going forward. So stay tuned, keep your eyes open. Dr. Joseph is working with the Board of Education to schedule those in-person meetings in each board district area. So with that, we want to invite you to please complete our evaluation for tonight's session. It's very important that we get your feedback, your comments, everything that you share with us about our work helps us improve. So we truly appreciate you for being here. And I am going to turn it over to first of all, I want to thank our interpreters that are here tonight. We have ASL, we have Spanish in our simultaneous interpretation room. Thank you all, Dr. Jennifer Love. Thank you to our team of supporters in IT and in communications. And without them, we could not make this happen. So again, thanks everyone. And here's our closing for tonight. Next slide. And we can start our video. Thank you all, and please complete our evaluation and enjoy a wonderful weekend. We look forward to seeing you in person.